What's good, people? Spud here. Welcome to Roundup Extra Episode 9. It's been a while. We're only going to do a few more of these. I don't know if this will come back in the 2026 Call of Duty League season, but we're here anyway. Today we're going to talk about Minnesota ROKKR. It's between ROKKR and Cloud9, but we're going to talk about ROKKR's lack of ice. Because they've now are really far away from making Call of Duty champs because of how this week's matches have gone out, which obviously we're going to be talking about when I record the roundup very later, because this is Tuesday today. I'm going to actually upload this tonight at 6. But ROKKR's ice has cost them here, and are now very, very, very far away from making champs. And they might not even finish in 9th, which obviously has no impact now, but the next 4 matches are literally do or dies for both ROKKR and Cloud9. But we're going to talk about ROKKR here, especially because Cloud9 have 3 matches. I think ROKKR have 4. But with Optic obviously beating Surge in very convincing fashion, it's looking very unlikely now for it's looking unlikely now for ROKKR to make champs. And the amount of Game 5 round 11s they've lost since Kenny's come into the team is really worrying. I think they've had 4 Game 5 round 11s and they've lost 3 of them. Obviously, the big one they lost was against Optic at the start of Major 3 qualifiers. If they win that, then the gap is 20 points, even with the other games they've lost. But I mean, they just lost to the Vegas Falcons. Obviously, that from realistically should have been a guaranteed 10 points for this team, because I think genuinely this is a very good roster. But I just think that Nero and Gio just don't have the ice to make champs, and it's going to happen again this year. I mean, regardless, you want to obviously get into champs. Look, LAG. Obviously, Estrel was on that LAG roster last year. They got top 3 at Major 4 out of nowhere. They took Vegas Legion, Carolina Royal Ravens. Vegas Legion were battling for that 8th spot and going to the Gorillas. But I think actually Gorillas were. Where did Gorillas finish it in the season? It must have been 6th actually, because they got a lot of points from that finish. But obviously they played Optic in round 1, and I'm pretty sure Optic were either 2nd or 3rd seed behind FaZe in MW3. But yeah, I do think ROKKR are in a bit of trouble now. I just think that loss was ridiculously poor from them. I don't think the team's bad. I mean, I really don't think the team's bad, but I think that they're now in massive trouble of not making champs. I mean, let's have a look at the matches that they have left to play. Wow, so they actually have got Gentlemates as their first match next week. That has to be a win. I expect them to beat Gentlemates. If they don't beat Gentlemates, I know Gentlemates obviously took Miami Heretics to a Game 5, but if they don't beat Gentlemates, it's done. Because I think they're going to be starting in losers bracket anyway. Then they have Toronto Ultra, which I expect them to lose. But then they have Carolina Royal Ravens, which they definitely can beat Carolina Royal Ravens. I think they might beat them as well. And then they have Vancouver Surge, who I expect them to lose to. So in a realistic scenario, now that they've lost to Falcons, yeah, they could have been aiming for 3 and 2 in this split. Now they're going to have to aim for 2 and 3. Might sneak into winners bracket, but could potentially be playing FaZe or Ultra. Or Heretics. Depends on who gets number 1 seed, of course. I mean, LA Thieves are 0-2, so they'll probably avoid playing the Thieves, which is a good thing. But yeah, it's absolutely massive now. The game against Gentlemates. If they lose that, Champs is done for them. And like I say, it's just the ice. It's just the ice. The amount of Game 5s, they had the Optic one, the Boston one, which they won. Carolina, they've had a Game 5 with Cloud9, they've had a Game 5 with Vegas Falcons now, which obviously went the distance, and yeah, it's a worry for ROKKR. I mean, when you look at the series as well, they played well, like they genuinely played a really good series. Like they were dominant in the hard points, but they just lost the S&D, and S&D wins you championships and makes you get to Call of Duty champs. I wonder what Minnesota ROKKR's going to look like next year, because they're obviously under the G2 affiliation now. I'd rather they were like Minnesota G2, but let's see what happens. Thanks for watching. See you later.